Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Sharanam Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavater Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 83. Chapter entitled Draupadi Meets Queens of Krishna. Text number 10. Shri Jamavati Uvacha Pragyaya Deha Kridamum Nijnath Daivam Sitapatim Trinavahani Amunabhyayudhyat Gyatva Parikshita Upaharad Arhanam Mam Padau Pragraya Maninaham Amushyadasi. Shri Jamavati Uvacha Pragya Deha Kridamum Nijanath Daivam Sitapatim Trinavahani Amunabhyayudhyat Gyatva Parikshita Upaharat Arhanam Mam Padau Pragrya Maninaham Amushyadasi. श्रीजामवती उवाच प्राज्ञादेहकृदमुं निजनाथ दैवम् सीतापतिं त्रिनवहानि अमुनाभ्ययुध्यत् ज्ञात्वा परीक्षित उपाहरद अर्हणं माम् पादौ प्रग्रहमणीनाहम् अमुष्य दासि Mataji's. Word to word meaning. Shri Jamavati Uvacha. Shri Jamavati said, Pragya, unaware, Deha, of my body, Krita, the maker, my father, Amum, of him, Nija, his own, Natha, as the master, Daivam, and worshipable deity, Sita, of goddess Sita, Patim, the husband, Tri, three, Nava, times 9, Ahani, for days, Amuna, with him, Abhyayudhyat, he fought, Gyatva, recognizing, Parikshita, awakened to proper understanding, Upaharat, he presented, Arahanam, as a respectful offering, Mam, me, Padav, his feet, Pragya, taking hold of, Manina, with the jewel, Aham, I, Amushya, his, Dasi, maid servant. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada disciples ki jai. Translation. Shri Jamvati said, unaware that Lord Krishna was none other than his own master and worshipable deity, the husband of goddess Sita, my father fought with him for 27 days. When my father finally came to his senses and recognized the Lord, he took hold of his feet and presented him with both me and the Shamantaka jewel as tokens of his reverence. I am simply the Lord's maid servant. Purport. Jamvan had been Lord Ramchandra's servant many thousands of years before. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti mentions that while hearing Jamvati's story, the woman present recognized her as the girl whom Jamvan had once offered to Lord Sri Ram to be his wife. Since Lord Ram had taken a vow to have only one wife, he could not accept her then, but did so when he returned in Dwapar Yuga as Krishna. The other queens wanted to honor Jamvati for this, but she replied humbly, I am just the Lord's maid servant. How Jamvati and Satyabhama were Lord Krishna's wife is told in chapter 56 of the 10th canto. Chant press. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam Sajivam Sa Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratshe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रा सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं भंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्येश्वरम् Hare Krishna. So I humbly seek blessings at the lotus feet of all the assembled devotees here, especially His Grace Acharya Ratna Prabhu, Prem Sarup Prabhu, Ananda Bhagwan Prabhu, Shenitaya Prabhu, Raj Gopinath Prabhu, and all assembled devotees, so that we may be able to speak for purification of our heart, for the glorification of the Lord, as a service to all devotees, and for benefit of everyone on this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. If we analyze the situation of the world, we can clearly, and we analyze the characteristics of devotees, then we can clearly understand that the highest need in the current day and society is the need of devotees. Because devotees have such amazing characteristics which brings auspiciousness and success uh, overall. Devotees of the Lord are so kind and all loving, very, very compassionate. Devotees of the Lord always thinks of others' welfare selflessly, without any ulterior motives. And devotees, what to say of devotees when they are very grave and very serious in making wonderful plans to help others? What to say of when they are uh, seriously absorbed in trying to help and mitigate the sufferings? Even when devotees they come together and have their casual talks, devotees have their casual talks. Then their casual talk is how Krishna showered His mercy upon me or upon someone. So their talks are all about Krishna. Devotees, even in their casual talk, because they are so Krishna conscious, they always see Krishna's kind and loving hand. And when they come together, they are simply coming and talking and glorifying Krishna. You know, and seeing Krishna's loving hand in this way, when devotees come together and talk like this with each other, they become very powerfully united, with love for Krishna in the center of their lives. When they hear this devotee share, oh, this is how Krishna helped me. And same Krishna is the object of love for other devotee. And hearing that how Krishna helped, and showering mercy in the life of this devotee, other devotees become so enlivened. And in that way their relationship, with Krishna becomes stronger, while their relationship with each other becomes also stronger. Right? And this is how the devotees, they come together and they discuss, you know, about Krishna. Generally, we find in this world, people when they come together, you know, they also talk, right? But they also talk about like big obstacles, they went through, right? Devotees also talk about how they went through big obstacles. कैसे ये problem आ गया था and then everything got solved. And materialistic people also, when they come together, they also talk how I went through such a big crisis and problem and then solved. But the huge difference is that, when materialistic person talks, the center is me. How I did it, you know, how this problem happened, that happened, this happened, and then how, I was the hero of the whole scene, and I made this all the solution happen by this planning, and in that way, it's not at all beneficial for anyone, and it's not even beneficial for that person who is speaking. Neither is beneficial for others. Right? It's simply a egoistic talk, right? Uh, Whereas devotees, they see loving hands of Krishna. Right? Sometimes the same tendency can happen to us who have come to Krishna consciousness. We may also talk about something very nice. Like yesterday, Purushottam Natapur was giving class, and he was explaining how this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, what we are reading, is as good as the section that how I came to Krishna consciousness. Right? Draupadi is asking, so how do you came to Krishna consciousness? And they are all sharing their pastimes. And this is the most wonderful discussion, right, you can have with devotees, right? If you just come across with some new devotees, you go to some, you know, some, let's say in Mayapur, with devotees from all over world have come, and you just, if you want to just have nice relationship and pure Krishna Katha, just ask them this question: Prabhu, how you came to Krishna consciousness? And everyone will have super exciting story, very thrilling. And that will not only, will be a very nice topic of discussion of Krishna, but also that will make our relationship very strong, isn't it? Because he actually is going to share something very, very special about his life. Right, that what he was, and how things happened, and the whole, in the whole situation, the glorification of Krishna is the center. That how I was, what happened to me, and how now, because of Srila Prabhupada books coming in my life, devotees mercy coming in life, how everything suddenly changed. It's a powerful glorification of Krishna. And and it's a wonderful way to develop deeper relationships, right? And that's what is happening here. But sometimes it can so happen that even in talking, that one may uh, talk about oneself. So we can overcome this propensity when we come together to talk about ourselves, by studying Shrimad Bhagavatam and seeing how these devotees they talk, right? How the devotees in Shrimad Bhagavatam, pure devotees, when they are meeting together, how they are discussing. This can, this pure interaction can make us overcome this tendency of talking about oneself, right? How we are seeing here in this episode, and we'll go to text number 5 to begin our discussion. Very, very beautiful. It don't have a purport here, but but it's a very nice verse. Shukdev Goswami. So the context is that we are in Kurukshetra Dham right now, and in Kurukshetra, uh, on the, because of solar eclipse, a very, very special solar eclipse, devotees from Vrindavan have assembled there. Devotees from Hasnapur have assembled there, and devotees, all the Dwarkavasis are assembled there. So it's a very grand reunion happening at Kurukshetra. And in the previous chapter, we have seen Krishna meeting with Brajvasis after a long time, and a very, very deep episode we went through. And now we are seeing Yudhishthir Maharaj. We saw Yudhishthir Maharaj and all other kings. They meet with Krishna uh, there, and they, as if their life is back by seeing Krishna. And then, and they offered wonderful prayers. And then, text number 5, Shukdev Goswami speaks. The great sage Shukdev Goswami said, as Yudhishthira and the others were thus praising Lord Krishna, the crest jewel of all sublimely glorified personalities, the women of Andaka and Kaurava clans met with one another and began discussing the topics about Govinda that are sung throughout the three worlds. Please listen as I relate these to you. So, so the acharyas, Srila Vishwanath Thakur and Jiva Goswami, commenting on this verse, explains that actually Shukdev Goswami becomes very, very enthusiastic. That's why he says, Shrunu Varnayami te. Please listen as I relate to you. Right? ये होता है ना, ये बहुत स्पेशल अभी मैं बोलने वाला हूँ. Becomes very enthusiastic, and his enthusiasm is because how these devotees they are coming together, they began discussing, generally we find here the verses samyeta, here it says andaka kaurava striya. So as soon as you hear that the Striya and Samyata, all the women have come together, then the women come together, talk a lot of here and there talks, right? But immediately the next word is Govinda Katha Mitho Grah- Granams. That is, immediately they came together and they started doing Govinda Katha, right? And these topics of Govinda, and then Shukdev Goswami said these topics of Govinda are so powerful that Triloka Gita, they are being sung in throughout the three worlds. So such discussions began between these queens. And another point Jiv Goswami especially mentions that Shukdev Goswami was very enthusiastic because of special quality of Draupadi. Because now Draupadi is going to ask these questions, and Shukdev Goswami, remembering Draupadi, her great devotion for Krishna, her special relationship with Krishna, Shukdev Goswami is very, very enthusiastic. So, so these are the wonderful, wonderful qualities of devotees. So we see that Draupadi has put the seed question, in text 6th and 7th. Draupadi is very enthusiastic. She calls out, "O Vaidarbhi, Bhadra, Jamvati, O Kaushala, Satyabhama, Kalindi, O Shaibya, Rohini, Lakshmana, and other wives of Lord Krishna, please tell me how the Supreme Lord Achyuta, imitating the ways of this world by his mystic power, came to marry each of you." And Acharya explained that Draupadi is saying that I know that you are eternal consort of the Lord, but I want to know how this pastime took place here. How Krishna did this pastime right here in the material world and made you all again your queens. And here and further immediately, what begins, you know, uh, is all these queens are describing about themselves. In Chatan Chatamrit, when these about this description, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami makes an important point that that these through these verses which the gopis are telling the Mahishis, the queens of Dwarka are telling here, we can understand that how these queens of Dwarka are always in the mood of that I am servant of Krishna. Their only desire in their heart was how I can become servant of Krishna. And that is the constantly in all the verses of all these queens, we find this one constant theme that they simply wanted to become maid servant. And in today's verse also we are seeing Jamvati is not just saying wanted to become maid servant, but despite becoming queens, despite having so many sons and daughters and having big palace and everything, you know, their always consciousness is I am servant of Krishna. Nothing else. So this is the mood. Jai Shishi Nithai Gauranga Bhagwan ki Jai. Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. So the first thing we can learn is that when we come together, how we talk, we can learn from here. That whenever Samyeta Govinda Katha Mithoganas, right? Right. We generally like to talk. So first we'll enter into that topic when we'll enter into further many wonderful subjects. So how we talk about Krishna. So we see that generally when we talk, we like to talk about what we went through. By condition as conditioned soul we are. Our tendency is to talk about ourselves, what we went through. And devotees also sometimes may want to talk, may want to also hear, how everything happened, what happened. You came from, you know, and some devotees came from very far off, from Haridwar or somewhere. So how was your journey? How was the trip? So you want to talk like that, that how everything went through. So and then we want to talk also about how everything went through, right? So that in that attempt, when we even talk, among devotees, we can learn here from these Mahishis that how to talk in a way that we can always glorify Guru, Krishna, and Vaishnavas. not keeping ourselves interest. How everything is going, we always glorify the Lord. Just like tomorrow is a very auspicious day. Tomorrow is uh, Brahmotsav or appearance day of Shishinitai Gauranga. Hari Bol. And so not only on the day of appearance, but always, especially on the day of appearance, generally we talk about the glories of the deities, how the deities perform so many pastimes, right? So we can glorify Nitai Gauranga, how they mercifully appeared to attract everyone, how they brought mercy and happiness in our lives. How what are wonderful things happened in my life. We can give wonderful credit to Nitai Gauranga. I remember once, almost a year back or so, once I was talking to Shivaji Prabhu, and Shivaji Prabhu was explaining the some very miraculous incident which happened, by which huge quantity of mitti was brought here, in Goshala, and he was telling the whole narration, and I was thinking that he did such a wonderful thing, but all throughout his narration, you know, he was not at all taking any credit. All throughout narration, he was telling how Nitai Gauranga made this arrangement, how Nitai Gauranga made that arrangement, how Nitai Gauranga did that, and but I was also seeing that he also did so much hard work. All throughout, there was so much of thing which he was doing. But then this is the nature of devotee. Devotee wants to give all credit and glories, and he sees Nitai Gauranga's hand. How Nitai Gauranga is directing everyone and making things and arrangements so that you know wonderful things are happening in this world. So in that way, a devotee loves to glorify you know the Lord. He loves to see, even if he is talking about his own things, he loves to explain that how Krishna made wonderful dynamic arrangements in the lives, right? And actually, all the things happening here in truth is pastime of Nitai Gauranga, right? Right, Nitai Gauranga is doing constantly so many leelas, right? Sometimes the leelas may look difficult, right? Difficult to conceive that why some troubles are coming, but behind all that is a deeper thought of the Lord, right? Like once I remember I was discussing with some senior devotees, that if Lord wants, now here we are sitting here to make a wonderful temple as per the desire of Srila Prabhupada and the GBCs, that is the instruction given, you know. So if Lord wants that to happen, He can just make it happen, He doesn't even need us, and He can just inspire some, big people, and so many things can happen. Just if He wants to make just a structure to come up, right? But Lord has different, deeper plan. Lord wants us to be purified. Lord want us to be united. Maybe if the temple comes, with just effort of one person, and just one person enters and the whole temple comes up, then maybe there is no loving relationship among devotees, right? There's no, till the time crisis don't come, maybe we don't come together also, right? So, so Lord has a different plan, right? Lord has a different plan. Lord plan is not just to erect structures. Lord plan is to make us devotees, and Lord plan is to spread pure devotional service. So in that way, more and more when we align with Lord's plan, uh, we can see Lord's hands, loving hands, and we can in that way glorify and talk with each other in that respect. So here we are seeing that how all the queens are coming together and discussing Krishna Katha, how they were benefited, how they got Krishna's mercy. In today's verse, we are seeing Jamvati is recollecting her situation. When we hear the purport, which is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purport, commentary, we can understand the position of Jamvati, that that many lakhs of years ago, right? Many millions of years ago, you know, so many thousands of years at least is mentioned here. So many thousands of years ago, right? Jamvan had told to Lord Ramchandra, Jamvati is there since that time, right? These personalities you can imagine, their ages, right? And Jamvan is also since there. And also Acharya has given the commentary. Jeev Goswami explains this point that Jamvan was in a he took a form of human being, so that he was in a form of a bear, but he took being a powerful son of a demigod, he took a form of a human being. He could change his form, so he was in the form of a human being, you know, as a father of Jamvati. That is the point mentioned there, you know, as a father of Jamvati, because Jamvati is not a beer, right? So like that, so that is mentioned there, so she is waiting. So she was offered to Lord Ramchandra, and she had given her life and soul to Lord Ramchandra. She is waiting since that time, you know, for Lord Krishna. And now finally, that same Lord Ramchandra, who is Lord Krishna, has come here, and Jamvati is offered. So we can understand the exalted position of Jamvati and how she is remembering this wonderful thing. And it is mentioned here that there was a that my father didn't understood that here is Lord Ramchandra, and he fought with him for 27 days. Jiv Goswami also writes in the commentary in the chapter 56, it is mentioned 28 days. So the 28th day is a day when Jamvan surrendered. So that's why 27 days is mentioned in this verse. So for 27 days there is no recognition. 28th day he surrendered, and then finally he presented me, right? And then here it is mentioned that when the queens heard this, they understood that Arey, she is the same Jamvati, the daughter of Jamvan since that time. So immediately they wanted to offer respect, but immediately she said, "I am just Lord's maid servant." So that is the very wonderful mood we find of of all the queens of Dwarka, right? So, and this is the foundational mode of all the rasa, you know, and that is I am servant of Krishna, and this is the highest ecstasy in a lecture series called as Bhakti Bhava, Bhakti Bhava, by His Holiness Devamrit Swami Maharaj, you know. It's a very famous lecture series in 2004-5 he gave. So there, one of the prime basic foundational concept which he explains from Chaitan Chaitamrit is that bhakti bhav, or we are sometimes hankering that we should get some bhav, some feeling for Krishna. How that feeling will come, and without that feeling, actually, we can't continue also, right? So how that feeling comes? So the foundation of that feeling is that I am servant of Krishna. This feeling, this relationship, this sambandha, that I am servant of Krishna, right, gives the foundation to all other feelings in Bhakti Bhavana, right? Until the time this sambandha, is not there, that I am servant of Krishna, till that time, the feelings are not on a spiritual platform. So that's why this is established here also by the queens of Dwarka, that how this feeling is so very important. Now, very important topic also we'll see that how these devotees, when they're coming together and discussing about Krishna, you know, and in that way relishing Krishna consciousness together in association, this gives the highest pleasure to Krishna. So in this regard, recently I was reading Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, in which Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to South India Yatra, and he has reached Kovur, and there he meets with the great exalted Shri Ramananda Rai. And in that discussion with Ramananda Rai, which is a very, very exalted discussion, right? Very high topics of discussion, but still a very beautiful, esoteric, but simultaneously a very beautiful point, understanding through Srila Prabhupada's purport, we wish to discuss. So there, in the discussion, which began with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asking the question that what is the goal and what is the method to achieve goal. What is sadhya and what is sadhana? That's the question, primary question. And the discussion began with Ramanand Rai started to tell about Varnashrama, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying this is external. Okay, this is Varnashrama is important. Prabhupada writes a long purpose on that. but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this is external. You know, so tell me something more. And then Ramananda went on to tell uh, about many wonderful things, but again focus on the structure. Till the time the externals were focused, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept saying, this is external. And then finally, when Ramananda said uh, that the that the real goal is that sthane sthita shruti gatam tanu jnane prayasamudapasya. That giving up all mental speculation, just hearing from the pure devotees about Krishna in whatever situation you are in. When this was spoken, that okay, just direct hearing Krishna Gatha from pure devotees, you know, giving up all speculation. This was accepted, and from there, Ramananda built up to uh, the Braj Bhakti and Dasaras, and then Sakharas, then Vatsalaras, and coming to Madhuraras, and then talking about the glories of Srimati Radharani, which is the highest explanation. And after that, so I'm really going into the very esoteric topic, but a very beautiful, simple, and deep point, which will come out of this. So, so after that, uh, explaining the greatness and the exalted position of Srimati Radharani, the discussion went on. Ramananda is speaking and explaining. And he says, there is an inexplicable, this is text number 207, chapter 8, Madhalila, in case we'll just go through some 10 verses and try to come to some point, which is very relevant for this discussion. There is an inexplicable fact about the natural inclination of the gopis. The gopis never want to enjoy themselves with Krishna personally. Right? So this is the text 207. Krishna saha nij leelay nahi sakhira man. The happiness of the gopis increases 10 million times when they serve to engage Sri Sri Radha and Krishna in their transcendental pastimes. Right? So the gopis are the devotees' happiness, and the gopis means the most exalted devotees. The devotees' real happiness is to see Srimati Radharani and Krishna. By nature, Srimati Radharani is just like creeper of love of Godhead, and the gopis are the twigs, flowers, and leaves of that creeper. When the nectar of Krishna's pastime is sprinkled on that creeper, the happiness derived by the twigs, flowers, leaves is 10 million times greater than that derived by the creeper itself. Purport. In his Amrit Pravaha Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states, Srimati Radharani is the creeper of love of Godhead, and the gopis are exactly like twigs, flowers, and leaves. When the water is sprinkled on the creeper, the twigs, flowers, and leaves indirectly receive all the benefits of the creeper itself. But water sprinkled directly on the twigs, leaves, and flowers is not as effective as water sprinkled on the creeper's root. The gopis are not as pleased when they directly mix with Krishna as when they serve to unite Srimati Radharani with Krishna. Their transcendental pleasure lies in uniting them. So this is the happiness of the most exalted devotees in the spiritual world, right? And the happiness is the mood of servant of the servant, right? When we try to assist, that then the happiness comes. Now, so this is the first concept, that every devotee, in Braja is simply trying to assist Srimati Radharani to serve Krishna. Right? That's the first point. Now point number 2. Text 212, we'll see. That what is now Srimati Radharani is doing. Although the gopis, Srimati Radharani's friend, do not desire to enjoy themselves directly with Krishna, Srimati Radharani makes a great endeavor to induce Krishna to enjoy himself with the gopis. And then text. So this is Radharani's mood, you know. And then presenting various pleas for the gopis, Srimati Radharani sometimes sends the gopis to Krishna just to enable them to associate with him directly. At such time, she enjoys a happiness 10 million times greater than that enjoyed through direct association. So then Srimati Radharani, she wants the devotees, you know, uh, to to serve Krishna directly, and in that way she becomes 10 million times happy. So this is the mood of Srimati Radharani herself. So in that way, every single devotee is simply trying to help other devotee, right, serve Krishna and assist others. And the final verse 2214. अन्नो ने विशुद्ध प्रेमे करे रस पुष्ट तासबार प्रेम देखी कृष्ण हय तुष्ट. The transcendental mellow is nourished by that mutual behavior in transcendental love of Godhead. When Lord Krishna sees how the gopis have developed pure love for him, he becomes very satisfied. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srimati Radharani and gopis are not interested in their personal happiness derived from association with Krishna. Rather, they become happy by seeing one another associate with Krishna. In this way, their dealings are further nourished by love of Godhead, and seeing this, Krishna is very pleased. So, very uh, deep and very simple point simultaneously is that Krishna's happiness in the spiritual world is to see the devotees, uh, having completely no envy, no lust, no envy, and just trying to see that how other devotees are happy, right? So their happiness is to see other devotees happy, and other devotees giving happiness to Krishna, right? They are not even themselves interested in directly giving happiness to Krishna. So this kind of real, genuine, loving, selfless relationship between devotees pleases Krishna so very much, right? You know, where and in that way, when devotees, in here as we are seeing, when devotees they are coming together, just discussing, you know, about devotion to Krishna, just talking about Krishna together, and in that way having a wonderful mutual loving relationship. You know, this is what satisfies the Lord the most, right? We see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he descended, you know, uh, 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 Apni Ashari Prabhu Sikhainu Sabar, that by his own uh, example, he taught how to practice and how to please Krishna. And what he did, what he would do, if you see his activities, all his pastimes, if you see, what he would be doing through his activities. And when he is in Navdeep, we'll find he's coming together with devotees and doing Harinam Sankirtan, doing Krishna Katha, doing Nam Sankirtan and chanting and dancing, and another time preaching Krishna consciousness, right? Right? So that is the loving relationship with devotees he did in Shiva Sangam. And we find when he's in Puri, every day his schedule would be that he is going, taking darshan of the Lord, doing Mangalarti, and after that he'll bring Opal Bhog offering, he will get some Mahaprasad, and he'll immediately come to Haridas Thakur, sit there for 2 hours. And in case Roop or Sanatan is there, they will talk together. If Roop Sanatan not there, just sitting with Haridas Thakur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be talking for 2 hours, Krishna Katha, right? And then later on, he will chant his rounds, and then after that, he will go to Tota Gopinath and sit with Gadadhar Pandit and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So in that way, he taught that how we please Krishna when we come together discussing Krishna Katha with each other. And we can see and having a very loving and deep relationship with each other, very deep relationship centering around Krishna with each other. And we can see at this point of time also when and we can see in our current acharyas also so many wonderful Srila Prabhupada disciples, you know, the kind of love and affection they share with each other, right? You know, uh, that gives, and why they have this very, very genuine, deep. First thing is that this is a natural outcome of love for Krishna. You know, when one has love for Krishna, naturally they love each other. They come together and they just discuss Krishna Katha and glorify Krishna together, right? And giving up away all other things, giving this to be highest priority. You know, and we can see currently the, you know, these great souls. You know. How many names you can take, you know, Jayapata Goswami Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, you know, Loknath Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, all Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, all their lives and pastimes, if we try to study deeply and understand Giriraj Maharaj, you can just keep taking names after names and meditate on their qualities. We can see that how these all personalities give such a great importance, you know, uh, to meeting with their god brothers discussing about Krishna, and rather actually they give so much importance to GBC meetings, you know, to any such get together because they know that this is how we can please Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada is, and when we please Srila Prabhupada, we please Krishna. Right? And Srila Prabhupada himself said that you can show your love to me by how you cooperate. So Krishna is most pleased by this wonderful activity of devotees coming together, discussing about Krishna, keeping all our personal agendas aside, you know, and just focusing on discussing on Krishna. In that way, developing mutual love of God of each other. Thank you very much. Uh, so today we discussed on on this topic that how the society needs the devotees the most, because devotees are the real people whose only concern is Krishna, and hence they are real welfare workers who can help everyone. You know, and we discussed that how they are real welfare worker because they are always focused on Krishna. In their own personal lives, when they come together, they talk only about Krishna. Uh, Even in about their life, when they talk only about Krishna. And when they come together, they give up their own personal agendas and they focus on Krishna Katha with each other. And that's what we are seeing here in this episode of Mahishis coming together. Thank you very much. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.